Hi and hello everyone. My name is Nurul Najihah Binti A.Aziz. My metric number is 198024.
Hi, my name is Nur Haizatul Shahirah Binti Anuar and my metric number is 198653.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syafiq Akmal Musa. Metric number 196544.
So, my name is Nurul Aqilah Binti Saleh, metric number 197572.
Hi, my name is Mohamad Khairul bin Abdul Wahab.
And my name is Mohamad Saiful Ikwan bin Rozman and my metric number is 198682.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. My name is Imran bin Imran. My metric number is 198666.
And we are from Group 4. In this video, we'll be discussing about butter. And I will be your moderator. So we all heard about butter. But do we actually know what it is? So let us have my friends to explain to you what butter actually is.
What is butter? Butter is a dairy product made from the churning milk or cream. The churning process separates the butter fat, which is solid, from the buttermilk, which is liquid. The butter we most often buy is made from cow milk, but there is other varieties milk used to make a butter, which is goat, sheep, yak or buffalo. While typically pale yellow in color, butter can range from white to deep yellow depending on animal diet.
So I'm going to talk about a different type of butter. So the first one is the unsalted butter. So the unsalted butter is this butter is very perfect and very suitable for cooking and baking. So unsalted butter is lack in seasoning, so we can add seasoning to our preference. And the second one is clarified butter. Clarified butter is perfect for dipping sauce for shellfish and other seafoods. And the third one is cultured butter. They will churn the cultured cream to form the butter. So it's very good for baking because it have a very lower moisture content. So and the fourth one is European style butter. European style butter is very old-fashioned processed butter. They will change the cow milk very slowly and take a very long time. So they in this process they will be able to produce a very high butter with a very high amount of butter fats. So and the last one is whipped butter. After the cow milk have been churned, they will add the nitrogen butter to make the butter soft and more spreadable.
Now I will share 5 facts about butter. The first one is 12 grams per tablespoon of butter contain 80% of fat. The second one is the melting point of the butter is 98.6 Fahrenheit. The third one is smoke point of butter is 350 Fahrenheit. The fourth one is butter can be stored at the room temperature, refrigerator or freezer. And lastly is the shelf life of butter is 1 to 3 months in refrigerator, but it's up to 1 year when it's frozen.
That is a very good information shared by Haizatul and Syafiq. Thank you very much. So now let us take a look at the origin of butter.
Butter origins go back to the 10,000 years, to the time when our ancestors first to domesticating the animals. So butter is an old Western civilization. As you can see in ancient Rome, butter is used for medical purpose. So if they're caught, they will swallow the butter, and they also will use the butter to spread at the aching joint. In other story, in India, the Hindus already have been offering the Lord Krishna a tin full of ghee. So a tin full of ghee is known as clarified butter for over 3,000 years.
Did you know that India, European Union, the United States and the New Zealand are the top butter producer? But as a butter is made from one ingredient, it also can be made at home.
So butter originally came from the ancient Rome and now has been distributed by a lot of countries such as India and United States. But how about the properties of butter? So let us hear from my friends Aqilah about the properties of butter.
Butter is known as high-calorie food that are mainly composed of fat. It contains about 80% of milk fat and around 16% of water. Butter also may contain salt that is directly added to the butter, around 2%. Butter also contains protein, calcium, phosphorus and fat-soluble vitamin A, D and E. There are over 120 different compounds that contribute to the butter unique flavor. The 5 primary factors that include is fatty acid, lactones, methyl ketones, diacetyl and dimethyl-sulfide. In the milk fat, there are mostly triglyceride, small amount of monoglyceride and diglyceride, phospholipid, glycolipid and lipoprotein. 98% of triglyceride in milk fat have approximately 40% of unsaturated fat that are varies in chain length, degree of unsaturation, and the position of the fatty acid on the glycerol. Although long-chain fatty acids have higher concentration in butter, they do not make significant contribution to the butter. The one who gives the flavor is short-chain fatty acid. Butter is an emulsion of fat in water. Thus, boiling point of the butter are start about 100 degrees Celsius. As is it not pure water but solution of protein, salt and hydrocarbon, its boiling point will be higher, around 110 to 120 degrees Celsius. Butter remains solid when refrigerated but softened to spreadable consistency at room temperature and melts to a thin liquid consistency at 32 to 35 degrees Celsius. I think that's all about the properties and the composition of water. So, thank you. I will pass this to the moderator, Najihah.
Thank you, Aqilah, for such a detailed explanation on the properties of butter. So now, let us move on to the production of butter that will be explained by Khairul.
So the production of butter is made of raw cow's milk, where this raw cow's milk will be processed and firstly put it into a machine that we call separator. This separator machine will separate the cow's milk into two parts, which is buttercream that will be made into butter, and the other part we call skim milk. The buttercream will be put it into a spinning machine, which we call churner, and the buttercream will solidify as the fat in the buttercream stick to each other due to the properties of fat itself as it's spinning in the churner. Then the buttercream will produce two parts of product in the churner, which is butter popcorn and buttermilk. The buttermilk will be released from the churner and will be used to make other product and the butter popcorn will continue the production and will be spinning in the churner until the right texture of butter are obtained. Then after the right texture of butter are obtained, the butter will be packed into solid blocks and will be distributed to the consumer. So for better understanding, so let's watch this production video of butter.
Butter making begins with a tanker truck delivery to the dairy. 30,000 liters of raw cow's milk. Workers test it for consistent color and odor before unloading it through vacuum-pumped hoses. They pump the raw milk into a machine called a separator. The separator spins, dividing the raw milk's fat from the rest of the liquid. The fat is called buttercream, and the rest is skim milk. The essential ingredient in butter is the buttercream. It's thick, off-white, and approximately 38% fat. Some of it goes to make 2% milk. A worker adjusts a valve to reinsert some into the skim milk. The resulting 2% milk is more watery than buttercream and is white. The less the fat content, the thinner and runnier the milk is. Back to the butter making. They put the buttercream in what's called a bulk tank, where mixers stir it to maintain the consistency. After pasteurizing and then aging the buttercream for 24 hours, workers prepare to transfer it into another machine called the churner. First, they clean the inside by filling it with water mixed with iodine. This removes any germs left behind by the previous batch. They spin the churner for about 5 minutes before rinsing it out. Next, they pour in 1,500 liters of buttercream, filling the churner about halfway. It's important to leave some room so that the air released in the churning process can escape through 2 vents in the churner. The churner spins at 28 rotations per minute, about the speed of a clothes dryer. This causes the buttercream's fat molecules to bunch together, releasing water and air. Every 5 minutes, a worker stops the churner and regulates the air vent on top. When he feels there's no more air escaping, he closes the valve and restarts the machine. After 30 minutes of churning, the fat molecules in the buttercream are creamy clumps known as popcorn butter. These clumps stay trapped in the churner, while the remaining liquid, called buttermilk, flows out a drain at the bottom. A vacuum pump system sends it through hoses to a nearby container. This draining process takes about 10 minutes and produces about 800 liters of buttermilk. This dairy uses the buttermilk to make ice cream. The popcorn butter, all 684 kilograms of it, has the same consistency as regular butter at room temperature. A worker now flavors it with 14 kilograms of salt. This dairy also makes unsalted butter. The worker closes the churner by sealing the glass window with a rubber ring and a metal collar. This keeps the internal air pressure roughly equal to what's outside the churner. Doing this ensures the churner works efficiently. Another 30 minutes of churning and the fat molecules thicken even more and blend with the salt. What results is butter, which is yellow because of its natural vitamin A. Next, a worker scoops about 30 kilograms of butter into a milling machine. The mill moves the butter into the final production phase, where it'll be shaped and put into packages. This machine squeezes butter into an injector that's shaped like a block. The injector then deposits blocks of butter into open packages. The packaging paper has an aluminum outer coating. This prevents light from penetrating. Light can make the butter rancid. Each sheet is 26.5 centimeters long and 19 centimeters wide. Before the butter is inserted, a plastic former bends the paper into shape. This mill operates 4 days a week, churning out up to 33 blocks per minute. That's a fairly small quantity compared to some dairies. But this relatively slow pace allows greater quality control. To monitor the mill's precision, workers check every 15th block to ensure it weighs exactly 455 grams. The dairy then ships the butter to stores in refrigerated trucks.
So now we already know how butter is produced in the factory. Thank you, Khairul, for explaining that. So now let us have Saiful to explain the application of butter and what can it be used for.
Butter generally have a quite similar function as the margarine, due to the reason the margarine is said to be the cheaper option for butter. The most common use of butter is for baking. Butter is used as one of the main ingredients in baking of cakes, cookies, and pastries. It is often said that the bakery's products that are using butter are much better compared to when using margarine. This is due to the reason that the butter contributes to the flavor and texture of the bakery products. That's why cakes made using the butter are more fluffy and softer. Besides for baking, butter can also be used as one of the ingredients for sauce making. This is because the butter adds to the complexity of the flavor on the sauce. Butter can also be used for cooking, specifically for pan frying. For pan frying, butter is used as a replacement for oil. Butter can enhance the flavor of the cooked food when used in pan frying. I think that's all about the application of butter from me. Thank you.
So, butter can actually be used for a lot of things such as baking or even just for a breakfast. So that will be the end of our discussion for butter. I hope you will learn a lot of things from this video. So we will end this video by Q&A session provided by Haris.
Today, you will have Q&A session with me and also with our product, which is butter. Let's go. Okay, so this is question with butter. So the first question is, which butter commonly used in cooking or baking? The second question is, why butter is wrapped in aluminum foil instead of wax paper? So the first picture is wax paper and the second picture is butter is wrapped in aluminum foil. So compare both packaging style. The third question is, how churning help in the process of butter making? So churning is the process where people in the late 80s, 90s, they make butter by making a churning process. So this is the simple machine they use for churning the butter. The fourth question is, list dairy product that can be used in the butter. And the fifth question is, why people that have lactose intolerance can still consume butter? Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.